For the June 2022 message for the collective, I was brought back to the Akashic Garden. So for me, this is a courtyard area that exists sort of inside and through my Akashic Records building. And this is where I received the 2022 message for the collective. And I was brought back to the sundial that was sort of the metaphor for the year ahead. And if you haven't checked out that video, I will have it linked down below. So in the 2022 message, we were given this purview of 4 quarters of the year. So we are now halfway through 2022. So they brought me back to the sundial as a reflection point. And the offering that they provided here was that to pause, to reflect, to reassess, and to realign. As I was entering into and then receiving this message, I was aware of both this really positive, warm energy, as well as a bit more of a true reflective energy. Like, there are some questions to ask yourself and reflect on. So it's a little heavier, but it's not like a weighted heavy energy. It's just, there's still some asking yourself some deeper, harder questions. As I stood there and looked at the sundial, my awareness, my attention was redirected to look at the florals, the mosses around the sundial, and to take in the details. And the message there for us is, a lot of the times we set our goals or our vision, and that, sometimes happens at the beginning of the year. Sometimes it happens when we're a child and we say, I'm never going to bump up against this challenge that I faced as a child or that my parents faced. Therefore, I am going to set myself on this trajectory. And so we set ourselves on a trajectory, again, whether that be quarterly, annually, from when we were a child. And we don't always take the time to pause and to look at the details and the agreements that we have set in motion in order to achieve that direction, that goal. So this was an opportunity, an invitation to look at the bigger picture, and then to focus in on those details and ask yourself the questions around those details. I mean, the first piece of it is that trajectory still the trajectory that you're looking towards? Like, do you still want that bigger goal? From there, it's, how have I changed? What in me has changed through this process, through this journey so far? What in me has changed this year so far? And are there adjustments, rearrangements that are going to serve me in moving forwards on this journey? So again, we have a tendency to set this bigger directive, this bigger vision, consciously or unconsciously, and then we don't ask questions as we move towards it, when really there's a lot of change and growth and a lot of stuff that's happening along the path, along the journey. So the offering here is to pause, to reflect, and to ask yourself some deeper questions and realign yourself, whether that be a new vision, whether that be a renegotiated vision or a refocused vision, or maybe there's just some pieces involved that need a little bit more attention. So this is both an invitation for the bigger vision as well as the details. So stepping back, looking around, taking in the beauty and the wonder and the possibility, instead of confining to, well, this is what I said I was going to do, so this is what I have to do, or this is what I said I wanted years ago, or this is what I said I didn't want years ago. So this is the journey I'm on. Take the time to take in the bigger perspective, the bigger view, the bigger vision, and also adjust those details. And when we take a look and when we pause to look up, so again, a lot of the times we're focused so narrowly on this is the direction I'm going. When we take a pause to look up and look around, we get to see and realize where we are, how far we've actually come along this path. And honestly, to look at and take in the beauty and the awareness and the wonder and the awe and the joy of whether it be your current life or even if it's just being here alive on planet Earth. Now, through this wider lens, I was then guided to look at different areas of the garden. So I was then drawn to a tree. And this tree was a metaphor for the grounded rootedness that the tree has, that stability in the foundation. And if you've been following along, that was sort of like the end of 2021 into 2022 and kind of that first half of 2022, really focusing inwards. It's like the winter time, doing the work internally. And then from there, the tree has this really stable and firm trunk, but that trunk bends and flexes in the breezes. It moves, it has fluidity. It's also a stable pillar and a reminder for us to come back to that. The tree also has this ability to both draw up from the earth as well as bringing nutrients back into the soil. Sometimes it sheds its leaves and provides a floor to the area around it. Sometimes it grows its leaves and provides shade or protection for what's underneath it. And so it's this fluidity and these seasons that we get to experience with this tree metaphor. So the tree that I came across or noticed, was drawn to specifically, was a tree in springtime. And so it was just rebudding its green, like very vibrant green leaves. So as a tree first buds those leaves, they haven't taken in and they haven't like deepened their color. So it was still very fresh and very new. And the offering there, or the awareness there, was really this component of how you may have been doing all this internal work. And so as you're re-emerging, as you're re-entering and saying yes to the world around you and reawakening for the spring and summer times, sometimes we're still a little bit fresh. We're still a little bit raw. We still need just a little bit of time to get comfortable, to remember what it's like, readjusting. So giving yourself that time and that space, saying no to things just because you would have said yes to them previously, or you feel like you've missed out on some stuff these past few years. It's okay to say no to things if they're not aligned for you right now, or if you're feeling your energy just needs a little bit more of a bubble around it, a little bit more softness to it. Again, this energy is that of being grounded and solid in your foundation. And so if you are feeling a little bit frantic, or if you can feel your energy sort of like buzzing in an off-balanced way, you can come back to yourself. You can go and sit under a tree. You can go and be in nature. You can take your shoes off and put your feet in some grass or on the ground, just coming back to nature and allowing nature to be this grounded place and this grounded energy for you. So what's funny here is that in this particular point, I got interrupted by a phone call, and my phone went off, my iPad went off, and my computer went off, and I was like, okay, here we go. So I made the decision to answer the call, and when I returned back, I asked for, okay, so what does this mean? Like, what is this metaphor? What is this message here? And what I received was how important it is for us to operate in both this place of internalizing and coming back to our core and doing our personal work and interacting with the world around us. Interacting, being human in the world around us, experiencing this life that we have here on this planet. And yes, some of that is doing our own internal work, and a lot of it is interacting with the environment around us, with the people around us, with the energies around us. And so this message here is to remind us that it is both. And finally, to wrap this message up, I was brought back to the sundial, back to this energy of reflection, reminded of the thoughtfulness, the pensiveness that this inflection point in the year is reminding us to take advantage of. Allow yourself, create some space for yourself to reflect and to ask yourself a few questions. Who are you now? What growth have you experienced so far along this journey? Have your goals and vision and destination shifted and changed? And are you different? Do you need to shift and change that vision? Are there renegotiations or amendments or adjustments that you need to make to the bigger vision and to the details right in front of you? And then ask for assistance. Your guides are here with you, whether you are aware of them or not. I'm assuming if you're watching these videos, you probably have some kind of sense of awareness, but they're with you whether you know they are or you don't know that they are. They're with you, and they're here with you on this journey, and they recognize that this is a journey. So just because you've made a commitment, or just because you've made an agreement, or you've I just had the image of, like, in Bridgerton when he makes this vow to his dying father, and that vow puts him on this path that is no longer aligned with the future that he wants to create in his heart. And it's this awareness. Your guides expect you to change. Your guides expect you to evolve. Your guides are here to change and move with you, and they're here to support you as you change and move. So, weird just moment there, but it rings true. So take the time to ask yourself the questions and be open to the answers that come. Now is the time. I hope this information helps you, and I bless you on your journey. Please definitely, if these videos are of use for you, please give them a thumbs up. Click the subscribe button, notification bell. If you want to work with me more on an individual one-on-one basis, you can find the information in the description box below. Let me know how this information, this message rings for you down in the comments section, and thank you so much for joining, and have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.